Hello and welcome to this reading. Thank you for being here. I hope you're all well and taking good care of yourselves. As I'm sitting down to record this reading, I've got a message coming through or a vision coming through around a seesaw, like energy going up and down, and it's as though there's a ball of some kind in the middle, like a sphere, and as the sides go up and down, the ball is rolling from side to side. So there's something around wanting to find balance and maybe feeling imbalanced at this time. So if that resonates with you and you're looking for some kind of guidance, this reading could be helpful for you. So let's see what the cards have to say. I just had the sense there's some kind of resting point that's needed, and you may be looking for a resting point. Maybe this is in the form of somewhere to live physically. It could be a resting point within tasks and duties, whether that's within the family or at home or within a business. There's something about needing to find this resting place. And on a bigger scale, also on an internal scale, around finding that middle, like sweet spot, I suppose, between going from one extreme to the other, which can happen, especially when we're on an awakening journey. We can start to feel like perhaps we're two people. We could have two like opposing sides of us wanting different things or seemingly opposing. And actually, although this is a timeless reading, all my readings are timeless, I am recording this just after the full moon in Gemini. And so, of course, Gemini being the twins, we've got these two halves, maybe even two opposing forces, or forces that can come together to create something beautiful is what I'm feeling. This feels like an internal experience. So let's see what we've got here. So the Knight of Wands. This is what I'm feeling as that kind of action-based, very masculine energy. The Knight is masculine, Wands, fire is masculine. And so this is the part of us that really wants to get going, to get focused, to charge into action. I just heard like set things on fire. I don't mean literally set things on fire, but light that spark, get going. Really a very active energy, although the figure in this card isn't moving, he's poised. But you can see how much life there is in this card anyway, the way his hair's standing on end. It's almost like electrified. There's an electric kind of energy. And so I just heard like electrical fire. There's something within us, that really gets that kind of passion, that energy going and wanting to create something. And I just heard like now is the time to harness that. So absolutely, you can be in your active masculine energy. You can take steps forwards towards things that you want to create, that you want to bring into your life. I just heard like lands that you want to conquer. So again, not literally, but wanting to move into a particular sphere of work, for example, or again, wanting to move to another place. It could look like moving house as well, something like that. Whatever really, really lights you up, this is what's calling to you at the moment. So you could be feeling that call and then feeling like a pushback or a pullback. And this is where there needs to be some kind of balancing of the two energies. I just heard get yourself grounded. That's really important at the moment. If you have got a lot of this kind of electrical fire energy that wants to come through you, like this creative spark that wants to flow through you, it's really important to ground yourself while that's happening. It's really important to be earthed and grounded, to be able to channel that kind of energy. And that's why it's so important when people work with energy work, healing modalities, for example, even doing psychic readings. It's really important to be grounded because a lot of very strong, potent energy runs through the body. When we're doing healing work, as a healer, as a healing practitioner, we're actually just the channel. Like in some types of shamanism, they call it the hollow bone. And that's what we are. Like we've emptied out a lot of our own stuff, a lot of our own muck that we've been carrying around. And so we're becoming clearer and clearer channels to channel that energy. So it's not actually coming from the person themselves. It's coming from elsewhere. It's a spiritual force, life force that flows through. So that's why I'm saying it's really important to get grounded, because if any of the things that you're feeling drawn to and passionate about pursuing if any of those are connected to some kind of healing work or psychic work, anything along those lines, it is very important to also get grounded. So although this guy's electrified and very hyped up and ready to go, he's also nestled in some leaves here as well. And these are actually oak leaves that I can see. And the oak is very strong, very stable, a very regal tree, a great tree to turn to for courage and strength. So let's see what else we have in terms of balance. So we have the King of Swords, but it was in reverse. I don't often read reversals, but it was in the deck reversed for some reason, so let's go with that. King of Swords reversed. I just heard too much control, too much time in the mind. So strategy is fantastic. Knowing how to move forwards with the plan, fantastic. Over analysing everything, not so good. Micromanaging, not so good. It's kind of like squeezing the flow out of things, and I spoke about that in the last reading that I posted as well, about, you know, as if we had a pipe, a tube with water flowing through it, and then we squeeze that pipe, nothing's going to get through. So when the mind becomes too active, worries about things, brings up every little instance, thing that could go wrong, that's going to squeeze that pipe, so to speak, of life force. So with this in the reverse, that is what I'm feeling, like just an overactive mind, too much thinking, planning, over planning for the sake of wanting to feel safe. So I would say, you know, in this form, in the reversal, I would say the King of Swords is something to just be aware of at the moment, this kind of energy, these behaviours, any coping mechanisms that you have to keep yourself safe that actually stop you from living a full and true life, a life that's true to yourself. It's actually like cutting off the blood supply almost to this beautiful life that you want to live. In the upright position, King of Swords, fantastic, you know, really good strategizer, speaks clearly, communicates well. And that's the thing as well, when we overthink, sometimes that can stop us from expressing what we want to express, because either we're being too perfectionistic and we're trying to make things absolutely perfect before we share them, or we worry too much about what people might think or what people might say if we speak our truth. So if we can flip this guy the other way around and focus on the positive qualities of the King of Swords and use that analytical, strategizing mind to help us to move forwards, that's really going to be very beneficial in the long run. So that's where I'm feeling like there's some kind of imbalance. More on the masculine side, I'm going to say, because, you know, we've had the Knight and the King come out. The imbalance is maybe that we're tipping too far towards, I would say, I'm just going to say uninspired action, because that's what just came through, just like doing for the sake of doing, or striving for the sake of striving, and also just trying to figure everything out all the time. So what's going to help us to balance this energy out? The Blasted Beach, or the Tower card. So I just heard, let things fall. Now, that can sound really scary and chaotic, and it can be, but at the same time, you know, creativity can look like chaos. The creation process, for example, if we think about the Big Bang, that was pretty chaotic. You know, there's a big bang and all this stuff flies around everywhere, and then life is created, if that's what you believe. There's just something around allowing the chaos to happen, and it's not chaos in the sense of something really awful and frightening. It's more chaos of like just things not being in neat little rows and little boxes, for example. We've got these two figures here. I don't know how well you can see this, but I always think they don't look particularly scared in this deck. Let's see what we can do. Yeah, you can kind of see. He looks a bit more excited to me, and she's just surrendered to the process. So I always think, you know, although they're falling, and that could be a scary experience, they're choosing to experience it in a different way. So if you've got something coming up, or you're planning something, or you want to do something and it's a bit scary, and that's tipping you into that overthinking, try to focus on like curiosity and surrender. So, okay, so I really want to do this thing, and I'm going to feel pretty bad if I don't do this thing because it's actually what my soul wants, so I'm just going to go and do it anyway. How can I approach this with more curiosity? How can I approach this with more playfulness, inquisitiveness? And how can I just surrender more to the process? Because I feel like there's something that's trying to come in. Just adjust that a little bit, getting a bit washed out. There's something that's trying to come in, and there's also something that we're trying to attract. So it's like attracts like, and what you seek is seeking you, that kind of energy. But at the same time, like, we're repelling it because we're holding on too tightly to an idea of how it should be, or we are trying to micromanage everything and we're squeezing the life out of things. So it's just really the answer to that question, you know, what can help us moving forwards, is to let go. And I just said surrender to the change, and it actually feels more like an internal shift, an internal change, which is generally what happens first before external change. Again, coming back to energy healing, we work on the energy body first, and then this presents then through the physical body. So everything happens as energy first. So again, I'm getting this like seesaw doing this. It's like, oh, I'm okay. No, I'm not okay. Okay, I'm balanced. No, I'm not. I'm tipping this way, and then I'm tipping that way. And eventually we will come to a state of equilibrium. What I'm feeling is that you are actually, whoever's watching this video, you are working through something quite deep, in the sense that it's something that has had a hold over you for a long time. Some kind of pattern, belief, way of being. It could be around anything. It could be around relationships. It could be around work. It could be around money. It could be all kinds of things. It could be around health. And it's something that you've been trying to right for a long time. And this is the time when actually it is happening. It is playing out. And that's why you're feeling so imbalanced and unstable at the moment, because you're actually, these things are coming to the surface, these beliefs, these patterns, these fears, they're all there, you know, or here rather, for us to see, to listen to take note of, and to make different choices around. So we could be afraid of, I don't know, say you're going for a new job, you're applying for a new job, and you're frightened to do that, you're afraid to do it, but you know it's what you really want. And you go ahead and you do that, and you approach yourself with kindness during that experience, during that situation. As things play out, if you are feeling afraid, you know, but you go and do the thing, and then you're a bit like, whoa, jittery after, like, I can't believe I just did that, and you're kind of excited, but it's taking it out of you, maybe physically. Maybe you want to recharge by having a nice warm bath or a hot bath, and just lying there and watching something that you enjoy watching, stretching, going for a walk, doing things that you enjoy, stroking the cat, stroking the dog, whatever fills you back up, fills up your cup, people that you enjoy speaking to. I feel like, you know, this helps us to come back into balance then, when we've done something that scares us a little bit. And also celebrate yourself as well. If you are doing these things, if you are taking these steps, even though you're afraid to do them, that's great, that's fantastic, good for you. You know, it's not easy to do these things, and especially when we're working through old habits, old patterns, and these voices come into the head, our own like internal scared voices, like, oh, I can't do it, or maybe I should just leave it, maybe I won't bother, all of those things. Quite often we do that, you know, where we have that, oh, maybe I just won't bother doing it, it'll be okay. But then there's this niggling, nagging sensation in the background that won't let it be, because some part of us wants to do the thing. So it's important to be balancing ourselves out as we walk this, almost like a tightrope is what I'm seeing now, into the future, so we don't tip or sway too far one way or the other. There's always room for movement, like we're never ever perfectly balanced and still, because then we would just be still, we wouldn't be moving. But we can find as much balance as we can as we move forwards. And then we've got the Ten of Arrows instruction. So the Ten of Arrows would be the Ten of Swords in the traditional tarot, and for me, you know, that really means the end of a mental cycle, the end of a psychological cycle, maybe like the end of the road for some way of believing things or seeing things or doing things. And in this deck, it's called Instruction. And I think this is a lot to do with the discipline that we need in order to keep ourselves balanced. And discipline can sound really like, boring and heavy and rigid and whatever. Well, it's not about just being so strict that we don't do anything, that's fun or enjoyable or anything like that. It's not about being like puritanical. It's about discipline sometimes to get us to do the things that we know help us. So I don't know about you, but I have certain things that I know help me, and I will avoid them sometimes because I'm human, just like the rest of you. I do these things. And say, for example, you know that an early night or an earlier night helps you to feel fresher in the morning, and then you have more creative energy and you feel generally better and you're less irritable and you feel better physically. But actually, you just then stay awake scrolling or playing on a video game or watching something on TV till, 1 a.m. And then the next day you feel rubbish and you're playing catch up all day. That's one of mine. That's something that I do quite often. But yeah, this is about discipline to not do that, It's the discipline to do the things that we know help to move us forwards. And again, some of these things could be a little bit scary, but it's absolutely essential that we do them because, as I said, there's that nagging going away in the background of like, this is what we really want to do. This is our truth. So I'm going to pull one more card. We'll go with the Mystical Shaman Oracle. Okay. Just a final guidance. I was going to see if there was an actual question, get the words out, but there's not. It's just a general. So the Ancient Ones, number 1. So we're going for from a number 10 to a number 1. New beginnings. I feel like a lot of what we're shifting, a lot of what we're working with at the moment, that is kind of knocking us off balance and needing us to find that balance, is to do with ancestry. It's very likely, we generally do inherit a lot of things from our family. There could be things like very, very long held patterns and beliefs around certain things that have kept maybe family members stuck way, way back, right the way through the generations, and we're the ones that are questioning those beliefs and those patterns, and that can be very difficult, Sometimes it can be easier, maybe it's been easier for people to just have the whole ignorance is bliss thing, not do the inner work, not do the shadow work, and just go along with the status quo and do whatever everyone else has done before. But when you're a pattern breaker, you don't really have a choice in the matter because you will be miserable if you don't start to break these patterns. Basically, once you see them, you can't unsee them, is what I'm going to say. Once you see your own truth, you can't unsee it. So you can't then just go back to working a job that you absolutely hate, that you feel trapped in forever, because it will nag and nag and nag at you and you won't be happy. But not everybody has been here to walk the path of stepping out of the tried and tested. So, maybe you're the one who's doing that. You're the generation that's doing that in your family. So yeah, there are actually ancestors around though that I'm picking up on that could be very helpful to help you to make these changes, even if they weren't able to make them in their own physical incarnations. They can help you with signs and guidance, synchronicities, and with strength as well. They can help you by lending you strength, let's say, as you move through these times. You can sit down and say, whoever, an ancestor, you might know the name, you might not know the names. I'm having a really difficult day today and I'm working on releasing these things, but I'm finding it so hard. Please could you come to me and help me and comfort me? And you might feel like a warmth around you, Sometimes I've had just a hand kind of placed on my shoulder energetically, or like the feeling of a warm blanket being wrapped around me, like with a hood put up, maybe like a cloak. Just anything that feels comforting, they can do that. So just remember to ask for help if you are feeling imbalanced and out of balance at this time. It's all just a part of the process as you right yourself and move towards what it is that you truly want. So I hope this was helpful. All the links are in the description box below if you'd like to contact me, book a reading, any of those things. I'm also on Instagram as well. And I hope you enjoyed this. I'm sending you all much love. Thank you for being here. Bye bye.